Hi everyone, this is Dr. Pat. Have you ever wondered why is it that your life is filled with so many mistakes? You just keep on taking the wrong paths, and every turn you turn, it's almost like, why am I making these mistakes? Why is it I'm not doing this thing right? Why isn't everything working out well for me? In Jeremiah 1 verse 5, the Lord said, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. Could it be that God is trying to get us to become who we really are? But we really don't know who we are, so he's just trying to force us into understanding. But then we keep on making so many mistakes because it has a lot to do with what we think, who we think we ought to be, how we think we ought to be, where we should be at some point in time. I've counseled people who they've said to me, listen, by the time I reach age 25, these are the things that I have said, these are the goals that I must have achieved, and they become so depressed when this doesn't happen. It's almost like life is such a failure. Nothing is happening for them because they have set out their own plans for themselves and not God's plan for themselves, because you really don't know who you are despite you thinking that you know yourself. How many of us have ever been through situations and we're like, oh, did I really do that? And I could have sworn that I would not have done that. This is why I've always said, don't ever swear for yourself, because you don't know what you're going to do when you get into that situation. Have you ever made some wrong moves where perhaps you got married to somebody who your parents said, no, I don't think you should get married to that person because there's something about them. However, you went ahead because you just thought your parents just wanted to just crash everything for you, right? They just didn't like the person, and so they had an issue with them, so that's why they didn't want you to get married to them, right? Have you ever made some mistakes with your children where you just assume certain things and it's not necessarily so, but because you are the parent, you went ahead and you did some stuff, and then when you recognize that, oh, I made a mistake, right? It is just too late. You have caused a relationship to go sour. Could be the same thing with your friends. Could be the same thing in your workplace. Could be that, within your spirit, you saw this job, right? You went and you did the interview and you're offered it. But something in your spirit is saying to you, you know something? This might not be the job for me. But maybe because of the salary, maybe you really, really need a job. And so you decide to just ignore everything else and took the job. And then at the end of the day, when you got the job, it's like, oh my God, this is not for me. This is the wrong place. And you left there faster than how you went in. But it is just a process in you trying to find yourself. We make a lot of mistakes. It would be great if we could minimize those mistakes, because in minimizing them, or in not having as many mistakes as we normally have in our lives, I think we could perhaps find the right path or understand ourselves a little faster, so that we could get to enjoy what God has for us. We could enter into the rest that He has planned for us. But know one thing today, that the experiences that you go through is part of the process of finding yourself. You could have caused some of them. God could have caused some of them in finding that path. So don't beat yourself up too much concerning it. But each time you go through a situation where you think you have failed, where things didn't quite work out for you, ask yourself the question, what lesson can I learn from this? How can I prevent this from happening again? What is it about me? What are my thoughts? What is it about my situation? What is it that propelled me to have made these decisions or to go this way when clearly it was not the right one? And when you learn from them, after a little while you'll get there, because that is the intention that God has for you to get to the place where He has prepared for you from before you were even formed. So take heart, but stop and ask yourself some questions and see if you can minimize some of these negative experiences. So Father, I pray in the name of Christ Jesus that you will cause us to have the presence of mind every time we do something, or we want to do something that is not in keeping with who we are in you, with the person you have formed, who you have called us to be, who you made us to be, that you will cause us to be honest with ourselves and to figure out through your Holy Spirit what went wrong. What is it within ourselves that we are determined to do, as opposed to what you are determined to do in us and through us. And so once we get there, it'll be easier for us to begin to walk in our purpose, to walk into who you have called us to be. In the name of Christ Jesus, amen. We'll talk again soon.